Well, I like the Mona Lisa, the Pieta, Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel.
Mona Lisa, the Starry Night,
Civil War. All I can think of is part of a poem. Shoot if you must, this old gray head, but spare your country's flag.
I think I like landscape art the best.
Wildlife and
Landscape.
Oh, I like landscapes and like things like the trees out there.
I'm a folk artist. I draw what I see up here, but I don't put all the crinkles and crackles and stuff in it. Just like, I don't put shrubbery around the house. I might put a lawn, but I don't make shrubs. So I'm a folk artist.
Okay.
Like Leonardo da Vinci's.
Okay.
Woods and land, trees, flowers,
Okay.
and yeah. Of course I like people too.
Sergeant.
People,
Okay.
scenes with activity.
Just the drawing of people, yes, there, trees.
Okay. Okay.
But my mother never wanted to send me to art school. She just didn't think that it would be worth, making.
No, I just love to watch my stepdad draw. He does a lot of drawings and stuff. I love his art, so.
I have a picture in my room because it was painted by a guy that I know. It shows the beautiful woods and the deer, and I have that hanging in my room.
Well, I called my friend one day and I told her, I says, they say everyone has a hidden talent, but mine hasn't showed up yet. She said, just stay the way you are.
maybe drawing, writing, stories of my life.
as a filmmaker, my whole career.
I always love to cook, that's right.
Yeah.
Make cookies and everything.
I don't know. I am able to get people together.
Mechanical ability.
I used to be able to sing very well. I did in school, high school, and afterwards I just sang a little bit in church.
Okay.
I'm Catholic,
Okay.
and I just sang for my own music, I guess.
I do like to cook. I like to bake potatoes.
Okay.
Activity from wildlife and stuff like that. So it made it more interesting to look around bodies of water rather than just, other things that aren't. Yeah, used to. Recently I don't do any fishing anymore, but I've grown up doing a lot of fishing, and mostly in Minnesota.
Sing. I sing old time music like rock and roll, and I used to do Be My Love. Do you know that one?
I think I do, yeah.
Be my love, for no one else can in this burning. That's the way it goes. So I sing.
I like to do a lot of singing. Sang a lot of Christian music.
Okay.
Bowling, my knitting,
But I've got trophies for bowling. I've made quilts. I knitted afghans, sweaters, mittens, winter head caps that just fit over. For the boys, I sew. My family knows that.
Well, about the only thing I can think of was cooking. I enjoyed cooking. And I made a lot of desserts, you know, pies and cakes, and used to decorate them. And in fact, I did a lot of wedding cakes.
Yeah, I can do embroidery and some regular sewing. I can do some crafting with crocheting, knitting. I do some Indian beading. I can do either balloon beading or the hand stitching. And I'm learning new stitches with that. There's like, the one I'm working on now is a peyote stitch.
Well, I was behind the PCB stuff and clean up and scouting.
That kind of thing.
I used to do a lot of sewing, and so that was really beautiful.
Okay.
I like to help people, and I just like to get on the computer and stuff and read.
Okay, good.
I like people, and I think I'm kind, and I think, but I'm just a nothing. I mean, not nothing, but I'm a mother with 4 children.
Okay.
But,
A neighbor would know that I have talents with flowers. A family member knows that I have talent or had talent cooking.
For the love of teaching.
Just Dallas.
I could say the life of William Anderson. I would tell him to get the hell out of here.
Best answer yet.
That's the great answer. Probably a comedian.
Try and find her.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because I've moved all over the place. Try and find her.
Okay, okay, good.
And Joyce Lunzenheiser's history book.
How to help other people.
What you see is what you get.
I don't know. Country girl.
Boring.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe the Follies will look at it.
I always told my family to put on my tombstone, "Here lies Mary Make-Do."
family, maybe.
Family? Okay, great, great.
Ramona and her many talents.
Jude and Allison, maybe. And that's old time.
Admire that you would.
I used to admire when I was younger Shirley Temple. I thought she was a good example. Betty Davis.
Betty Davis?
Yeah, I like her. Liked her. She's still around?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
She's good though.
Nelson Gable, who was the band director of College High School.
Ago, or it could be somebody.
Shirley Temple. I don't know, I just always liked her. She seemed like she had a lot of thrill and excitement in her life.
Yeah.
I don't know, the only person that I can think of that I really respect, and she's done so much, is the colored lady on television. What's her name now? Oprah.
Let's see. Mae West.
Okay.
She was vibrant. Old time movie.
Old time, yeah.
She
Yeah.
played a lot of burlesque and stuff like that, but she had other serious roles.
Shirley Temple.
Ah.
Yeah, she was always my favorite. She was the cutest little thing. In fact, I have a picture of her in my room. Of course, she passed away just recently. She was 90. And I always thought she was my age, but now when it comes out, she was 90, and I'm 86. So she was 4 years older.
Okay.
Oh, Greta Garbo. I always liked her movies.
Made that memory.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Claire Garson. I don't know too much about her, but I know I just loved her in the movies.
Okay.
She was in movies back in the 40s and early 50s.
Okay.
That's Selma Hayek, I think.
Yeah.
Because she's Hispanic and I'm half Hispanic, so.
Well, Gunsmoke, Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. Okay, yeah.
Time's open-ended as well.
I did it.
I've got a commercial pilot's license. Yeah? That's big.
Wow.
And I bought a plane, a small one. And I drove it, I shouldn't say drove, I flew it to the point where I got proficient.
Working through the Lake States, and did work in guiding canoe trips for groups of mainly Boy Scout groups that would go into the areas.
All through the power plant and everything, to be one of the top technicians on that.
Okay.
Didn't expect that to come that easy.
Well, I did a lot of things. I'm a watchmaker one time, and I went into that, and then from there, I went into the Navy. Then when I come back from the Navy, why, I went back to work, and that's when I went into the watchmakers.
Well, probably my job. I was in the credit department, and that was interesting.
Something that I couldn't do is I learned to play golf.
Ah,
Is that a good one?
that's a great one.
And I never thought I would, because I was never very, and I was scared to death that my husband was a real good golfer, and I had to learn how, and he taught me, so.
I can't believe I did that.
Yeah. I went to airline school, and like I couldn't get a job in Chicago, so I went to New York City. While I was in New York City, the Eastern Airlines called me and wanted me to come out there to work for them. So it was a surprise because I had gone for an interview, but some guy got it and not me. So I went from there to New York City to try and get a job out there. And while I was in New York City, visiting a friend of mine, she took me around. They called and said that I had to go to Chicago to get a job with Eastern Airlines. So I went right from New York to Chicago.
Okay.
And they said to me, why didn't you take the plane? And I said, I didn't know I was allowed to. So here I was on a bus all the way out there. Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
Milked a cow, never realized they would ever do that.
Oh, now every once in a while I have to speak at groups. If I had influenced anybody to do good, then I made out okay. Or to do something that they really wanted to do.
Two things. First, I got my LPN training, and I had to wait till all my kids were a certain age. My youngest one was a certain age. The other one was that I accomplished a year and a half of college. I only lacked 3 credits of graduating.
Well, I think the biggest thing is raising my children. Because when I first got pregnant with the first one, I was scared to death. I said to my mother, I says, what am I going to do with this baby? I don't know how to take care of a baby. You know, she says, well, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And luckily, it turned out really well.
Yeah, I got my children raised fairly well. I'm very proud of them. They made it. Our family was very dysfunctional, and I wasn't sure what they were going to be. And they're all good kids, so.
We live in the PCBs. It was a long struggle.
Did you accomplish what you had hoped to?
Oh, yes. And then some.
And then some? Okay, great.
When you're a mother and you have to be in a PTA, and you get things thrown at you and you try to do them and you just, it just overwhelms you sometimes.
But you did.
Oh yeah, and I would do it again.
Three children in 3 years and 5 months. Individual. I told the doctor I needed a sign for up over my bed, the flash thing. I have a daughter and 2 boys. And the boys are a year and 2 days apart, but they're just as different as night and day. One was second in his class, and I think the other one was probably about second from the bottom. But they have both gone their own way and done wonderful things.
I'm the only one in my family that finished school. And she can remember over 60 some surgeries since I've been born, so I'm the only one that graduated.
Wow.
Even though I've accomplished, even though I've had all the surgeries and stuff.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Really awesome. Okay.
I was a welcome married woman in the morning, and I love that. So I like people.
I was a wife and I never thought I could do it, but I did.
Probably to South Korea. My son was stationed there, and we went to see him and his family. It's a very nice country, very nice people.
I've covered most of Europe.
Okay.
And I spent 2 years in Algeria.
Western Germany. When my father sent his wife, my mother, my sister, and myself to California to visit high school friends of my mother. It was a Christmas gift to us, which we did not know we were getting because of tourist agencies. I don't know how the bug got sown, but when it did, it grew and grew. And the first, in 1979, a cappella choir of Warren High, it just seemed to multiply, and everybody fell in line, so to speak. The choirs later on, second, third, and fourth tours to Germany were basically for the choir kids. The chaperones, which there were many who wanted to, had already seen it once, but they enjoyed seeing it a second time because there was always something new in those ancient cities.
Yes,
That far?
my one son lives in Arizona, and we have been to California very briefly. But I'd like to do more traveling, but at my age, I don't think I'll be doing too much. I'd like to see more of the West, which I haven't seen too much of it. But it's interesting out there. A lot of people, though. I wouldn't want to live there.
California. San Francisco area. My daughter lives out there. She's been out there a long time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
But I'd like to go again, but I don't think I'll ever travel again.
Well, my wife and I, we traveled over on the east lanes. We traveled over in Spain and in the Navy. Well, I did all the South Pacific.
Well, I came from Kane, Pennsylvania, and I went to Florida. And I lived there for quite a while.
I've been to Europe. I guess that would be, we went to, what were some countries, Spain and Germany.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we lived on the West Coast.
Hawaii and the Virgin Islands and Mexico. Mexico too. I've been to all three of them.
Okay.
Tennessee, Kentucky.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. My husband and I we had a motorhome and we traveled everywhere. And we took our kids when they were little to see all the national parks, etc. And then when the kids were gone and we both retired, and the two of us just went and went and went. We had a motorhome and we saw everything in the United States. And I went to Europe because I have a girlfriend that was born in Sweden, and she took me to show me her home in Sweden and such. And I was very excited about that because I'm Swedish on my mother's side.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed that very much. Oh yes, many times to Canada. We never went to Mexico. We camped down in Texas several years, there, right on the border. And every day we'd go to Mexico, and because you could buy everything there so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very enjoyable.
Florida. Jacksonville, Florida.
Probably a couple 100 miles. Buffalo, it's the biggest city I think I've been to. And Pittsburgh. We're kind of in the edges of Pittsburgh.
San Diego. Then I went to see my son.
Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Our son had been over in Desert Storm, and when he, this was after that. He and his wife were stationed in Hawaii, and they had twins. And he treated us to a trip over when the kids were about 6 months old. So otherwise we never would have been there. Plus, with him being in the military, he took us all over. Poor Mary had to stay home with the kids. But that's the furthest we've been.
Okay. Nice.
Don't know, we traveled a lot when my dad took vacations and we go as a family. So it was at the time that a lot of the nephews and brothers were in the service, so we were going around to most of the bases. And the furthest I've been, Hawaii. Oh yes, I planned to go back right after I left there, and I haven't gotten there. And this was in the 80s that I went.
Okay.
Well, see, from Kentucky to Michigan, and then from Michigan to here.
I think I'll say quickly that this is not actually, Florida is one we went to.
The Bahamas.
I made very good potato salad with my own dressing. That's one thing.
Okay.
My dad loved to fish in the Lake States, because that's where he grew up. So.
Yeah.
Well, we used to do a lot of camping, and I think probably the main reason for that is that my folks grew up when times were hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you use tents and ate, you know, somewhere. Your food was food that you brought with you was because it was cheaper.
Well, my family likes sports a lot, and I like sports. And,
Mother could play the piano from by ear. She couldn't read a note, but boy, could she play like T for two, something like that. And my sister and I, when children when we would go to bed, and instead of being read to, she would start playing the piano, and we'd oh, play some more. Don't stop and read to us. Play the piano some more. As the musician, as the teacher, my mother used to say to me, alter some kind of ism. That was like you were a born teacher. And I was. I didn't give a darn if I was paid or not.
Well, like I say, I was in the Navy, and one of my uncles wasn't in during the war. He was in before the war started, and that's why I went into the Navy.
Homemade, when you make your dough for your pie crust, my grandmother had a terrific recipe for it. I used to make her roll out her kind of dough and make the dough. Oh yeah. My grandmother was a purebred Seneca Indian, and she used to dance. Well, I don't dance like her, but I used to sing. And she could sing too, but she used to dance more than sing. But I carry on. One tradition I do carry on is at Christmas time, I always have a Christmas tree. And that's the one tradition I have. And I don't make, usually we used to have homemade Thanksgiving dinners at home, you know, but I don't cook anymore because of my eyesight. I used to love to cook.
Unfortunately, I don't know anything about my ancestors on either side. The one that I'm carrying on for mine and thereafter is some antiques. And they're in my will to give to my daughter. I've got a dresser of December 21st, 1890 something.
Nice.
And I use it every day.
No, my grandmother adopted my father, and then she adopted me, so it hasn't been our own family. It's been her traditions. But she was from Sweden. And so a lot of Scandinavian stuff was been taught. I'm going to pass that down to some of my kids, the cooking and some of those crafts.
Okay.
Decided to is the environmental one, what my grandmother did and all that.
Okay.
The early 1900s, she fed the people, and then she found places for them to live and work.
Well, my sisters and I, we always were in the same on birthdays. One of us would bake an angel food cake, and the other one would get the strawberries and the whipped cream, and we would take that to the person's house that was having the birthday. And we did that for a good many years.
No.
No?
And it makes me mad. And my mom never learned anything from her mom, my grandmother. And I would have loved to know. I tried to get her to teach me to crochet, but she didn't speak English and I didn't speak Russian, so it was hard. Well, my mother didn't want it. She thought it was old country. That makes me mad. She never learned anything from her mother, but not because her mother passed away. My grandmother was there, and she made special Russian food, and she made breads. She made her own loom. She was a really great lady, and my mother just didn't want anything to do with it. Yeah, that's good, but you should not eliminate all your past.
I agree.
My children, I have 4, and they're all very successful. I'm pretty well satisfied with what I've done, but I would do more. I would love to write more.
I can't say I've done very much for the world, but I enjoy people, being around them, and I just wish I had traveled more. As I've grown older, I'd like to have been seen more of the United States. I don't really care too much about going to Europe, but I like my own state, country. Well, I wished I'd had more education. When I was in high school, I always wanted to be a nurse. And then I graduated and went to work at Blair. So I kind of regret that.
It's a gift of song that you and I can share with the whole world, whether they accept it or not. If we still let the song of our heart roll out of us over as broad an area as possible. Raise your voice in song, in a song called You'll Never Walk Alone. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is the golden sky and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be soft and slow.
When I had to go on to move up, go on to Erie, and dispatch power all over Erie County and out there. That was quite an experience.
Well, I lost 2 husbands. That's the worst part of my life. And they were both not that old. They shouldn't have died. But that was their time, I guess. And I don't know why something like that had to happen to me, but it did. But I have 3 kids. I have 2 girls and a boy. They're all in Corey. They stayed right in Corey. They like Corey. They have jobs and families, and they're all set. I am very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
I think maybe the fact that I was out fooling around in the woods and guiding crews of adults that had young boys with them, because when you were a guide, the people would come, say from Indiana, Illinois, something like that, and then you act as a guide for that group, and so you kind of get as a young buck, you get your opportunity to show people what you could do. I'd be 14, 15 years old, if you're a leader of a group or, you know,
Mhm.
and you have a group that comes here and they don't know, you know, never been in the woods. Or
Right.
they're all depending on you.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you a feeling of, that, yeah, pretty good.
Friendliness. Being friendly with people and listening to them instead of complaining. Instead of complaining, you find something good to say. You know what I'm saying? Making things better than what they actually are. I had a double compound fracture when I was a child and I had to have my leg in a cast. And I was apologizing to my mother because I didn't get to the grocery store. But
Wow.
yeah, I'm laying on one of those gurneys and I'm laying there and I said, Mom, I'm sorry I didn't make it to the grocery store. Because I was on the way to the grocery store on my bicycle. And I went into this driveway because I thought they might want something. Down I went. It was a gravel driveway. I put my brakes on and down I went before I could catch myself.
Just by being happy and just enjoying what I do.
I'm most grateful for my life and that I have tried to make myself a useful person to help anybody that needed help the better part of my life. And I've had such great happiness, and my children now are just, they're just fantastic. And I tell them on the phone every single day how much I love them. And that's important.
Sure
And
is.
I tell my family almost every day I have a blessing here. I don't know why, but whatever, I'm happy to get it, but I'm grateful. Very, very grateful.
My nursing and caring for other people, having empathy for them, and getting them well so they can go back home to their family, if at all possible. Otherwise, you help them in getting to give up to go to heaven.
It's less pollution.
Less pollution.
Yes.
Yeah. You think some laws were actually passed?
I know they were. Yes.
Great.
All said.
Well, I think I appreciate others that do that. A lot. And you can give thanks where it's due. That helps.
Hope that I have raised compassionate children.
And we had 2 boys and then we adopted a girl. I make sure I tell everybody that because she's only 22 and I'm a little old beat at her. So, but she was 11 when we adopted her, and we had her since she was 4 months old, so she knows the situation, you know. So, I mean, to me, I'd like to keep adoption personal and, you know, not tell, but in this case, I have because of my age.
Yeah, I think kind of. I tried to teach my children not to be prejudiced. I grew up not knowing that I was partly Native American. It was hidden from me until I was about 16 or 17. So I felt I lost a lot of heritage that I could have learned from if people would have been honest with me. And I knew what it felt like in this small town. Some people were prejudiced against the Native American because there was a lot of people about the lands and stuff. A lot of fighting over the land in this area. And so I grew up knowing the prejudice side of it. And I wanted to pass on to my children that that wasn't the right way to go with my grandchildren.
All I got to say is I got 4 wonderful children. My daughter will be 14, my son will be 13, my other one will be 8, and my next one will be 6. So.
You were a teacher, weren't you? Could you tell me what you taught?
Communication.
Communications, okay, okay. Did you teach college? Okay. Okay. Do you think when you taught, because of your teaching, did you make the world a better place to live?
I certainly hope so.
Oh, I bet you did.